All right, welcome back to Together for Good on the GDQ Twitch channel as a part of Twitch's Together for Good event this week. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what that is, this is a charity initiative. In our case, we are raising funds for Doctors Without Borders, or MSF. And if you're interested and you would like to support Doctors Without Borders, feel free to click the donate button on the Games Done Quick Twitch page. That's kind of like right underneath this window here, beneath the stream. Or you could always use !donate in Twitch chat for some more information. If you're watching on mobile, feel free to use !mobile. That'll get you a mobile-friendly link as well. All funds that we are raising in support of Doctors Without Borders for this event help to support their mission to provide medical humanitarian assistance to people based solely on need. So thank you so much to everyone who has donated so far. We are at, I'm just getting a little last refresh here, we're at $7,135. As I mentioned right before we took that little break, at $7,300, we have another incentive that will be met at that mark. That is for Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, and that will be to talk to, and I'm forgetting the character's name. I'm going to pull it up. It is Mac. Talk to Mac in Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. So if you'd like to see that happen, let's see if we can get to $7,300 by the end of this run. Would be great. Okay, well, this is probably one of the more famous, awful, silly block type games maybe ever. Kind of historically one of those games. And not a game, weirdly, I've had on Awfully Silly just yet, but I could see myself having it again in the future. This is the one, the only Superman 64, and it's going to be run by BradHarmar. Go ahead and show us Superman 64.
All right, hi everybody, I'm BradHarmar. This is Superman: The New Superman Adventures, or as most people know it, Superman 64. We're doing the 80% run today, so we're going to go through all of the main missions of the game. There are two things I need to set up real quickly before we get started. So first thing is Superman has a really interesting characteristic where the speed that the game runs at is based on the rendering size of the screen. So one of the things we need to do is we need to bring the render size down to get the game to run faster. So we're going to drop it to 60% so you can still sort of see what's going on. And then the other thing, people always talk about this being the ring flight game. We're not flying through rings, because if you go into options and set it to easy mode, that gets rid of all the rings. So at this point, I think we are ready to go. We're going to do our run, so I'll count it. Am I good?
Oh, you are great. I'm excited.
Okay, we're going to count it down in 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo!
All right, so this is Superman 64. We are being sent to a virtual world controlled by Lex Luthor to go rescue our friends. I don't know a whole lot about lore for this game, but there's a trick right here if I can get it. I missed it. Superman loads in on nothing, but for one frame, his nothing is a platform, so you can do a flying, like you can start your flight on that platform. So he just flies off of nothing. You'll get to see a lot of broken things. This game has the distinction of being considered one of the worst games of all times, but that was when it came out. At this point, with speedrunning, this is one of the most fun runs of all time, because you just get to break it left and right. For example, this car, oh, there it goes. It just drove out of my hands while I was flying it, and now it's driving through the air. A totally normal thing to happen in a video game. So we'll just get to see all kinds of really goofy things. A lot of the criticisms of this game was that it was very, very repetitive, especially with the ring flights. But as I talked about, we're not doing the ring flights because there's an easy mode. We'll talk about what that means to get to the final missions, because you have to beat the second to last mission on normal and the last mission on the hardest difficulty, Superman mode. We're gonna hope that this police car plays nice. This mission can sometimes be a little problematic. There we go. So we pick this up and we have to fly it past all of these rocket launchers. Why these enemies called Dark Shadows have rocket launchers, I don't know. We're in a computer game. All right, thank you, Superman. So normally you'd be flying through rings at this point. You'd go all over the place. That's what those timers are. But on easy mode, you just get to go from point A to point B. It's very nice. This mission is going to be fighting some of those dark shadows. Something interesting about this game is all of the hitboxes count as hitboxes regardless of if it's the character or an enemy. So sometimes the enemies shoot and kill each other, and it's very nice when you're trying to get a good split. And then one of the more interesting things about this as well is, despite being Superman who's got all of his powers, they decided that one of the ways to nerf his super abilities is that Superman has to collect power-up tokens, but only sometimes. So we're heading to a mission where we need to collect the one for his freeze breath so that we can blow some tornadoes to make them stop spinning. I wish I could tell you why this is what they chose to do, but I do not know. So one of the reasons why you want to run this game on 20% or 40% if you can is because the tornadoes actually disappear faster on those screen sizes because the game is just running faster overall. So the freeze breath hits the tornado hitbox much more quickly, and then it disappears. So this is the end of the first ride mission, the ring flight missions. We are heading to the dam. That's one of the first main missions. And this is where we'll get to show off a cool piece of tech. If I were a smarter man, I probably would have named it after myself because I don't think anyone else has found it. But it's just a corner clip. Superman's takeoff animation has a lot of forward momentum. And if you use that forward momentum and turn inside of a corner, Superman just flies out of bounds.
This looks like a job for Superman.
So if we head to this corner over here and... Oh, didn't get it on the first try, but... There we go. All right. So now we are completely out of bounds of the level. So for this mission, we are trying to freeze 2 bombs that have been set to blow up the dam. There are a bunch of other things that we could do, but we're not going to do them. We're just going to grab the frost breath. We're going to turn around. We're going to fly back over here, go around the outside of the level. Oh, just kidding. We're going to go back in the level. Okay, I have a fix for this. Sometimes if it doesn't want to work, you do have to restart the mission. There we go.
There you are.
All right. Up here is one of the bombs. So another thing that freeze breath can do is it can deactivate bombs. So that's one. Drop down. Superman just likes to go through anything. Walls, floors, ceilings. Really doesn't matter. So we're gonna... Oh, he didn't want to do that this time. Come on. You know what to do, Soups. There we go. So we're just gonna go through the floor, come up into this other turbine room, get in position around the bomb. All right, so there was supposed to be a boss to fight and some other things to do here. We're not doing any of that. We're done with the dam. So now we're back to the next ride mission. We're flying through more non-rings to do just some very basic saving the city goals. In the next 2 sections, the next 2 ride missions, there are a bunch of auto-scrollers, so we'll have some time if you want to ask some questions or just try and understand what's going on, and I'll let you know when those are coming up. So here's one of the more common enemies, the mine dropper. All you have to do is fly into them, grab them, and throw them, except this is way harder than it looks, because you have to grab them at the right specific area, and then they explode, and we move on. And you have to do that a lot for these missions. I don't have my list of splits up, so I'm trying to remember where I go next, but it's probably an auto-scroller if I had to guess. It is! Okay, this is the boy on the skateboard. So you have to defend him from these dark shadows. This is the worst auto-scroller of them all, because we'll hit this guy, and this guy, and like 3 more of them, and then we get to wait for a minute. There's no way to make it faster. You just get to fly around this corner. There are a bunch of dark shadows on the upper ledge. You don't have to fight them. They don't hit the skateboarder, they only hit Superman, so he can just hit the lower ones, and then we're just going to fly up here to try and keep the game running as fast as possible, and now we've got plenty of time. So, do you have any questions about this game conception?
Each from Kate, Kappa Banana, and Kid Blur, as well as $4 and $1 donations from I'm Hezo, $5 from Johnny Ray, Silnara, Draculon, as
Okay, I'll talk for a little bit more since it seems we might be having some technical difficulties. Yeah, so I'm angling the camera upward to try and get it to render as few things on screen as possible, because that does help the game run just a little bit faster. And that's the first auto-scroller over, so now we're back onto the mini missions. They're almost always blowing tornadoes, fighting dark shadows, or throwing mine droppers. So yeah, maybe this game was just a little bit repetitive, but it's good time. It's fun.
We'll hear back. Okay, cool. All right, so we should be good. Sorry about that. Yeah, for some reason, my sound stopped coming through. But yeah, just was shouting out some people who are donating, actually. We had $5 come through, all from Draculon, Silnara, Johnny Ray, I'm Hezo, Kate, Kappa Banana, Kid Blur, One Edward Elric, and Itakua, all donating $5, with Itakua donating $3. Thank you so much for your donations in support of Doctors Without Borders. Currently sitting at $7,173. We have an incentive open for talking to Mac in Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. However, it's not going to be just as simple as talking to Mac. Apparently, Dangerous, who's going to be running that game, is going to be doing a dramatic reading of Mac's dialogue if that incentive is hit. And I would love to hear what that sounds like. So continue to get those donations in, and let's see if we can make that happen.
Excellent. So, upcoming, we just finished this is the last part of the second ride mission. So we're going to the second main mission, LexCorp. This one has the best clip in the entire game. The collision detection on the locked door is just broken. So if you walk at it at just a precise angle, you walk through it, and it takes you to the end of the level, and you're just done. You just have to fly to a desk and read some notes, which, a little warning, the screen will flash just a little bit, because I'm going to read the notes very quickly. All right, so here at LexCorp, we're going to fly across the lobby, and hopefully I can get this pretty quickly. I'm going to drop down in front of this door, and there we go. That's it. That skips pretty much all the level. So now we have to fly across this room. We're going to drop down right here, and flashing warning. All right, we've read all the notes, and that's it. That's the whole level. We skipped all of the puzzles and all the other things they expected us to do.
Then there's no time.
So we're back to the flight ride missions. We're gonna go try and find the next mission, and probably throw some mine droppers or punch some dark shadows or something like that.
Wow. Yeah, that is one of my favorite parts of watching Superman 64 runs. Is not only, yeah, you kind of nailed it when you were talking about everyone thinks of the rings, everyone thinks of that, but like how often you can just like walk through stuff, fly through stuff.
Whoop.
Like it's so funny to me. I love that. Got that little N64 charm to it. So
yeah, I really appreciate that, like, because Superman has the ability to fly, it makes breaking this game even more entertaining, because as soon as you can get out of bounds, you can basically go anywhere. Because they didn't expect you to get out of bounds. So once you're out of bounds, Superman can fly, he can go up and down, he's just all over the place. I'm gonna play it a little careful here because I have almost no health. Oh, Lex wins. Okay, I was hoping to not have any of those, but
no.
This fight is particularly challenging because there are 2 enemies with rocket launchers and 3 mine droppers, and all of those things that explode do a ton of damage to Superman. Thankfully, this is a pretty quick one to retry. So we'll try and get the better timing, actually keep me on route, but nope, gonna get hit a bunch more times.
All those rockets.
Yeah, the rockets are really bad in this one. All right, mine dropper 1. Drop. And a lot of this game is just knowing where to go and how to grab, or how to grab the enemies, which way to turn to find them. Because if you like fall off your route for just a little bit, it becomes very challenging to figure out where things are. Okay. So there's a good auto-scroller coming up again. This one's particularly funny, and we'll talk about it when we get there. Oh, but it's not this one. We have to blow away more tornadoes this time. So sometimes the game just gives you the power-up token. You don't have to go collect it. This is one of those instances where it just gives us the super breath power. So it's much easier to do it without having to grab them. A lot of my runs die in that first tornado blowing mini mission, because if you miss the token, turning around is such a big time loss that you're just better off resetting. This is one of my favorite ring skips, because normally you have to do 4 minutes of flying around the city. On easy mode, you just turn to the right and fly. And then this is the auto scroller. It tells you to fight the dark shadows. The actual problem is this cardboard box, which cardboard boxes, I don't know if you know this, but in video games, they explode.
Sure.
So you fight these 3 dark shadows. There's not a timer for this one, so I'm not exactly sure how long she takes, but you have to wait for the woman to walk around the building. So I usually try and drop Superman down here and back him up against the wall, again, to reduce as much as it's rendering. And you've got a little bit of time if you want to highlight any more donations or ask any questions you have.
Sure, yeah, we could do a little bit of both. So we had a $5 donation come through from HUD601, as well as Incarnadine11 donating $15. Thank you so much for everyone who did that. As mentioned, yeah, we're raising funds for Doctors Without Borders as a part of Twitch's Together for Good event this week. For example, a $20 donation, if you are interested, can help purchase a number of things, such as 23 rapid tests to diagnose HIV infection, 12 obstetricial stethoscopes for monitoring fetal heartbeats, and also enough pneumococcal conjugate vaccine to immunize 5 children born from seropositive mothers. So the money that you donate is going towards a lot of help for a lot of people. Thank you so much for everyone who's donated so far. As far as questions go, now, is this a game for you, Brad, that you played as a child and loved, or you kind of fell in love with its history and wanted to kind of see what it was all about? How did you get started?
So this was not a game I played as a child. I bought this when I started streaming in 2020, because when I started playing N64 games on stream, people were like, oh, you love the N64. You must have Superman. You must have played Superman. And I was like, I have not, but if I ever come across it, I will pick it up and we'll play it on stream. So I went to a used game store and found a copy for $10, and I was like, we'll get $10 worth of laughs out of this. Easily. So I tried firing it up, and like most people, was very bad at flying through the rings, got to that first mission where the dam was, and I could not figure out for the life of me what I was supposed to do. I never managed to even beat the dam level. And then about a year later, I decided to go back and try it again, and I found that it was very easy to clip out of bounds. And I was like, oh, well, if I can get out of bounds here, I'm sure I can figure out how to get to the end of the level. So I sort of did a casual playthrough that was like, let's try and find as many ways to break the game as possible to get to the end of everything. Mm-hmm. And eventually I sort of gave up on that quest and just started looking up some of the other strats that the community had found. But it was so interesting just seeing that you could break the game and just get exactly where you needed to go almost instantly, and see some really silly things for this game to do. So this is the next main mission. This is the warehouse. This one also takes about 30 seconds if you do it right.
This looks like
you're supposed to rescue Lois Lane here. We're not going to see her at all. We're just going to head straight through this corner. We're going to say hi to Mirror Superman. Where is he? There he is. Hi, Mirror Superman.
Ooh.
And here's the final boss of the level, Metallo, who is not set in a fight state currently, so we just get to beat up on him while he acts as a pacifist. All right.
Smashed him.
And that's the whole mission.
Then there's no time to waste.
So we're back at it. A lot of these missions, there's like one thing that clears it, fighting a boss or doing something like that. So being able to clip through the walls and just head straight to the final boss and beat them up, that ends the mission. I've done a bunch of work trying to optimize some of the routing of this, which that really tells you how much I enjoy this game. Is I spend my free time trying to find better ways to play this game. Oh, we're gonna try and make a glitch happen here. Oh, I didn't get it. Sometimes if you enter the Superman symbol from the top there, the camera pulls way far out, and Superman is about 6 pixels big. Not great when you're actually trying to do run attempts, but really funny to showcase, and I'm trying to showcase some of the more silly things that this game is capable of doing. Oh, that guy went flying. All right. I'm also hoping if I can get a mine dropper to blow up while I'm hitting a scene transition, it causes Superman to fall over when the next scene starts, and this game is held together with gum and shoelaces very clearly. But surprisingly, when you go out of bounds, it does not crash all that much. The real problem that you run into is if you hit the bounds of the map, if you go to like the 0 plane or hit the top of the map, it really starts to freak out, but it doesn't crash all that often. Oh, I had one of the weeble wobble throws. Sometimes if you throw things on the first frame, Superman just gets stuck. Oh, I didn't get it. I was really hoping that we can see him just fall over when the camera transition happened. So there are a lot of little intricacies to the way that you have to control Superman. Like if you throw something on the first frame, he won't accept any more inputs for a while. This mini mission is terrible. This is the hostages. They're very unpredictable, these kidnappers. So it's pretty easy to hit them all 3 the first time, and then they just wander in different directions. And if you get too close to the ground, Superman stops flying and just sort of hovers. That was good. I had a run earlier this week where one of the kidnapper Dark Shadows just disappeared. There were 3 of them, and then there were 2, but I didn't clear the mission, so I have no idea what happened to him. I hope he was off living his best life for the next 15 seconds before it then cleared the level, so I assume that he did not make it. I think we're going to the... We'll never know. I think we're going to the 5 mine droppers now. This one is a little tricky because, like I said, those mine droppers can be a bit of a challenge to grab. And this is a real testament to how well can you control Superman if you can grab all of these first try. So there's 1. There's 2. Oh, nope. Couldn't do it. Let's see now. Superman has a very, very wide turning radius when he's at full speed.
Yeah, those arms are no joke. They got that. About to be T-posing.
And, a very frustrating thing about these is a lot of times if you don't catch them, they just turn around, which makes it even harder to figure out where they have gone to try and grab them again. All right, so that's the end of this ride mission. Next up is... next up Park Place. Park Place is the parking garage. This is a level that I spent a lot of time trying to optimize. This level is interesting because they tried to make it a giant maze that's really confusing and hard to find your way around. But all of the important checks are just layered on top of each other because it's 3 floors deep. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our little corner clip and get out of bounds like normal. Here we go. We're going to drop down. We're going to fly forward, and we're going to say hi to Jimmy Olsen. Hi, Jimmy. We can't rescue him yet. We need Lex Luthor's key card. I'm not sure why we need a key card to deactivate robots, but it's not possible to rescue him without it. It'll just say that Lex wins. So we're going to head over to this corner, and because everything is just layered on top of itself, we're going to go back up, fly this way, through the dark void of parking garage. We're going to pick up some power-ups for later. We need this one, and we're going to go around here and grab this one as well. We're going to Kool-Aid Man through this wall. Oh, grabbed a car. Didn't need to do that, but it's okay. Here's Lex Luthor's car. We just punch it once or twice, and there's his key card. Great. So now we have the key card we need to save Jimmy Olsen. And because, again, everything is layered in this level, we're going to go back to that first corner. We're going to fly past the police who tell us Darkseid's somewhere in here. Please bring him to us. So that's important. We'll definitely bring Darkseid to the police. So we're going to go out of bounds again. We're going to go down. We're going to come back to Jimmy. This is one of the longer levels because you actually have to do quite a few of the flags to clear the level. Jimmy lets us know that there's a bomb in here somewhere. And if you couldn't see it before, again, everything is layered, so the bomb is just above us. He was really trying to make sure that Jimmy didn't make it out of here. So we're going to come over here. Hopefully I'm close enough. Nope, got to go a little bit closer. We'll freeze the bomb. Great. We're going to take care of this guy. Oh, if I don't get caught on level geometry, which I might. And now, because we froze the bomb, Darkseid is mad, and he shows up to fight us. He's going to come over and tell us that he's ready to fight. And we're going to fight dirty and shoot him with laser eyes before he can even reach us. Oh, too bad, Darkseid. It was a good plan, right up until it didn't work. So, we need to take Darkseid to the police, which the police are on the floor above us. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pass him through the floor. There you go.
Then
The
there's
police have
no
dark
time
side
to
now.
waste.
Yep, just as simple as that.
Just as simple as that. Just take him to the ceiling, and they'll just pull him through the floor.
While we're flying to the next one, we had a few other donations that came in that I wanted to shout out, like a $25 donation from Lady Harmar. So I wanted to thank you so much for your donation, but I'm sure you wanted to hear that one. $15 from Jared Hicks, $15 from Research Ninja, $5 from Benny Bear 2, $5 each from Josh Wind, Rhythm is Life, Baby Ebo, and I think that gets us caught up. By the way, we are at 7,268. We need $32 more before we hit that Talk to Mac incentive where Dangerous is going to do a dramatic reading of Mac's dialogue in Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. $32 more. Let's see if we can make it happen.
So this section of Ride Mission in my splits is named Oklahoma because one of my mods lived in Oklahoma and he commented that all you do is take care of tornadoes in this one, so it must be Oklahoma. So that's 2 of the tornado missions. There's 1 more to do. And then we fight some dark shadows, and then we get to talk about what makes the back half of the any percent run interesting. So I talked about we're playing on easy now, so we don't have to do the rings. But the last 2 levels require progressively harder difficulties. So there's a specific way you take care of doing that without needing to replay the whole game. So we're going to take care of these tornadoes, we're going to fight some more dark shadows, and then we get to do a bunch of big missions back to back, skipping a lot of the game. So here goes our last tornado. This is an interesting dark shadow fight. Sometimes it goes really well, sometimes it doesn't, because once again, they have rocket launchers.
Not the rocket launchers.
Yes. Sometimes they're really nice and they take each other out, and most of the time they are not nice. And Superman got stuck on the sloped geometry there. I hope you enjoyed the dark. Oh, okay. One of them took another one out because I only fought 3 of them. Okay, so now we are heading to the Star Lab. Star Lab is interesting because the win condition of this mission is that there are 4 computers, 3 of them that you need to press at the beginning and 1 you need to press at the end. But all of them are programmed as computer. So if you can get to one of them first, it sort of changes the way that you have to go through the level.
Then there's no
So
time
here's
to
Parasite. He's one of the only enemies we actually see. We're going to bonk our head on this so we can come down here. Here's our friend Professor Hamilton. He's going to tell us that we need to turn off the computers. Perfect. We're going to turn around. We're going to fly back up here. Oh, no, stay in bounds. Do not fall out of this tunnel or it makes this mission much harder. Okay, so here's computer 4. We're going to start with that one. Do another corner clip here. This one's sometimes a little tricky because it's the height of the room sort of impacts how far you can fly. All right, so now there are 3 other computers. We're going to do number 2, and then if you do 3 and 4 at the same time, instead of showing the video of the water level lowering, it shows the cutscene of Hamilton being freed, and now we just have to head back over here, do that same head bonk again, which this one's a little... Oh, I managed to get it first try. Usually I have trouble finding it the second time. Land right here next to Hamilton. All right, he's saved. I mean, there's still a supervillain and a bunch of robots shooting at him, but he's saved. So, since this was during the N64 era, and people might not have had memory cards, they added an option for last game. So if you change the difficulty and hit last game, it'll say, oh, okay, you are on the next main mission. We'll just take you to the next main mission since you're on the correct difficulty. So we skip the flight section and just go straight to the mission. So this is the Metro. The Metro is probably the scariest mission for me because once it starts with this clip, which I do not like. Maybe I'll try and be a little focused until I can get it.
Sure, I will distract you by, well, not you, I'll distract everybody else by saying we have hit $7,300 with some donations from Necrofits donating $35, $5 from Linzerloo, and $5 from Karaga13. Thank you so much. We get to hear Dangerous do a dramatic retelling slash reading of Mac's dialogue in Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Thank you all so much for your donations.
It's worth noting, this used to be the way that most out-of-bounds clips were done, was trying to find sloped geometry and getting Superman to fly through them. The corner clip is much nicer, as you've seen. So hopefully I can get this. Let me really focus. Come on, Soups. Really doesn't want to do it. Oh, that was almost it. You have to give him just enough momentum to get out of bounds. Try and reset my angle. Ah.
Yeah,
That's why I said this one is the scariest for me.
Yeah,
Once we get out of bounds, we can talk about... Come on. We can talk about what makes this even scarier.
Come on, Superman, you can do it.
Hope everyone in the chat is cheering for Superman. Like Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, he can only do it with your support.
Yeah, they better not be cheering for Lex Luthor. That's all I'm saying.
Come on.
Almost there.
There we go.
Woohoo!
All right, so what makes this mission scary then is there is no skybox or frame of reference. So we are flying from the beginning of the level to the end of the level, and then we have to fly back from the end of the level to the beginning of the level with almost no visual cues on where to go. All right, so once you get to this end of the subway tunnel, they comment that you can't escape because they're blowing it up. So now you get to go back the way you came. And I'm going to take a little bit of precautionary time here because you saw I didn't love getting out of bounds on this one. So we're going to really line ourselves up. Oh, I don't even like that angle. So we're hoping to see... Oh, man, I am flying all over the place. What we're hoping to see is the start of the level. We're hoping to find it because we're sort of flying in the dark at this point.
Quite literally.
Quite literally. I don't know... I think I overshot it. Oh, maybe not. It's a little hard to... Okay. Not ideal, but at least we found the start of the level again. So now we just line ourselves back up. Okay, so now the last thing we get to hope for is now we're going to fight a giant robot. And the giant robot has this bad habit of one-shot killing Superman. He puts him in this, like, suplex mode and then just crushes him. So here's the giant robot. Everyone hope that he plays nice.
Come on, giant robot.
Like I mentioned, since all hitboxes do damage, sometimes the enemies will shoot the robot and help you. Okay, good. We didn't get suplexed. Although we are taking a little bit of damage here in the cutscene because this is just a fantastically programmed game. Oh. All right, so we've escaped the subway. Great. Now we're on to the final mission, which is the longest one. And I don't really know what to say about this mission. You're supposed to be collecting data discs? I don't know. You collect a bunch of random objects that you have to collect them to clear the end of the game. So once again, we are going to the corner here, getting out of bounds. This is a very big level, and it probably has the most things that you actually have to complete in order to finish the level. So we're going to go over here. Oh, didn't mean to go inbounds there, but thankfully, as long as you're not fully inbounds, it's easy to get back out of bounds. All right, so we've got one of the pieces of the device. And now we get to do a bunch of convoluted steps to get through everything. So we need to turn on access to the Thunder Arena, even though we've already passed the Thunder Arena. This is another level that I've worked to try and optimize the routing because there's so many things that it expects you to do. All right.
Also, just wanted to
device.
Just want to interrupt here real quick. We just got something new in for us. So later on, we're going to be having B-Duds doing a speedrun of Horizon Forbidden West. And we're currently going to be showcasing story mode, but we have an incentive that he will upgrade that run to an ultra hard run if we can get to the lucky number 7s. That is $7,777 for Doctors Without Borders. Let's see if we can get that incentive met by the time Horizon Forbidden West comes around.
All right, so we're still collecting things. We also need to throw barrels into teleporters. Oh, that was a bad throw. While these crab aliens fight us. Again, I don't know the lore of this game. It was supposed to be a tie-in to the New Adventures of Superman cartoon. I couldn't tell you anything about it. But we get to do a little bit of Donkey Kong 64 here because we get to throw barrels, and that's something everyone loves.
DK64 barrels, oh yeah.
I did DK64 101% casually on my channel. People were not a huge fan.
That game is divisive, I have found, yes. That's a divisive one.
All right, so we're grabbing the last of these pieces. It says that there are 7 remaining. We're not going to collect 7 more. We're going to come over here and turn on a teleporter and fly into a nearly identical room, the most diabolical thing you can think of. Drop down in here. Grab 1 more of these. Great. And we're flying back to activate another teleporter. And manage to get through the little tunnel. All right.
There
1 more. And now we're going to teleporter. And then we get to do what we refer to in my channel as the math maze. This game was trying to be incredibly relevant at its time. So in order to break out of the computer program, you have to get it to calculate the number 2000 because of Y2K.
I see.
Or at least that's, I think, what they were going for. So the math maze is interesting. You have to fly into a bunch of teleporters that either increase or decrease the number by 50 or 25. So we're gonna hit this computer. That weird totem pole looking thing is a computer, by the way. Okay, we need to do subtraction math. So we want this one. We need to go around. That one. There are only 2 patterns, but I did make a reference guide for this in the Discord for this game. If anybody ever wants to learn how to run it, because this is one of the most frustrating things, to get so close to the end of the run and then have to struggle through figuring out which teleporter brings the number up and down. So we made it to 2000. We get to do that same type of corner clip again. There's a crab alien that likes to fight you here. If you're really good, you can get out before he gets a hit in on you, but most of the time you have to take him out.
Tough crab alien, jeez.
All right, that one was much better. We're gonna fly this direction. Oh no, Superman, what are you doing?
Whoa. Okay.
All right, I think we're still good, because I think I know where I am. Yep, we're still good. Okay, so this is the last room of the game. It's going to tell us to go find the bombs. It says bombs plural, but if you go to the final bomb it expects you to detonate, it counts as all of them. So we're going to fly over to this room. We are going to grab this bomb. We're going to bring it back over to the center here, and then time is going to be coming up. Hit it with some laser eyes. All right. And time. Superman wins.
Superman wins. Wow. He sure does win, I guess.
Yeah, he's a winner of some sort. So you'll notice now that we've got this nice camera spinning and zooming thing. That's very important for the glitch exhibition.
Yes.
So we'll go through and we'll finish the game here. All of our friends have made it out of the teleporter. and there's definitely not Superman because he's not wearing the Superman suit. But the game does want you to know that despite the fact that you won, in the real world, Lex is still there. They can't even let you have the win. You played the worst game of all time, apparently, and Lex is still there.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so here are the credits. Some people actually let their names be associated with this game.
For sure.
But now we're going to show off the glitch exhibition with the camera. So I was shown this by the current world record holder, Headstrong. So I'm going to try and reload the last level.
Superman.
Please take me to the last level, and it's going to say you can't do that because you're not on the right difficulty. So we are going to go abuse the last game thing again. All right. So we're going to replay the last level again.
Your fate will be sealed,
But that
Superman.
camera zooming thing,
This looks like a job for Superman.
it doesn't get cleared from the cartridge. So now we're going to redo the whole level again, but with this effect, if that's what you want to call it, enabled. And because it doesn't clear from the cartridge, when you complete it again, it adds it again, and it's incredible to see. I will take this a little bit slower. It's one of those things where it's a little nauseating at first to watch, and then once you get used to it, you start to expect the zoom in and out. But if you have any other donations you wanna highlight while we're doing this, it's the same level again that they just saw. So
Sure.
you can read off some donations.
For sure. We had $5 each from Words, YYZ Salesman, Prismatic, oh boy, Prismatic Chrome Panda, hopefully I got that one, and Best of Hard Tech, as well as $15 from Kid Blur. Thank you all so much for your donations. Just as a reminder, if you're wondering, like, what does my $5 donation go towards when it comes to Doctors Without Borders? Well, it can go towards a number of things, such as enough vaccine to immunize 13 children against the measles, 4 treatments to cure adult patients from malaria, or 20 medications to prevent and treat postpartum hemorrhage. Like, just $5 can get any of those things for Doctors Without Borders. So thank you so much for donating and making that happen. Just want to remind everyone as well, at 7777, quadruple sevens, we have a new incentive to upgrade the difficulty on our Horizon or Forbidden West run to ultra hard. So I would love to see how that's going to change the game a little bit for the runners. So thank you so much for your donations, and let's see if we can get to quadruple sevens by the time that comes.
All right, so we're back to the Donkey Kong 64 part. We're throwing some
Yes.
barrels. Conception, who is your favorite Kong in Donkey Kong 64?
Ooh, good question. Been a while since I've played it, but I'm gonna go. Yeah, Funky Kong's in that game, right? For sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think Funky is the armorer.
Yes.
I think.
Okay. Then Funky Kong for sure. I'm
It's
a
a tough
Funky
call
Kong enjoyer.
for me between Chunky and Lanky. Both are very good.
I love those. I love the different personalities. That is one thing I really like about the game. You can say what you will, but they fleshed out the family.
I was very excited to see some Chunky Kong representation in the Mario movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm used to the camera thing now. Hopefully, some of you are as well. If not, hopefully it'll be over soon. But I really do thank everyone who donated to see this happen.
Yes.
I hope it's well worth the money that you donated. But if nothing else, you can know you donated to a good cause.
Yes, I think this is going to be well worth it. I've seen what the end of this looks like. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be very much worth it.
All right. So we're back to the teleporter. We fight some crab aliens. We do some more math. It's a good time. If you're wondering, fighting those crab aliens is necessary. It is one of the checks to beat the level. I'm not sure why, but I've gone through and tried various permutations of this. You can't get through it without fighting them. All right, are we going to go addition or subtraction, man? Addition this time. Cool. All right, doubles left, singles right. Sometimes it's sneaky, and the one you come out of is the one that you need to go back into.
Ah.
So it's very confusing if you don't know what you're doing. And as you can see, this is on a timer too, which just makes it that much less stressful if you're playing this casually. Though, if you've made it this far casually without using a guide or something else, very, very impressive.
Oh yeah, I think it's hard just to know what is going on in this game at on the normal days, you know?
All right, glad I got that one both times. Bummer that it didn't work out as well for the Metro, but it's all good.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
there's the room. Almost lost it.
Yeah, I could see how this would be a little nauseating for those who might be like prone to motion sickness or something. Or
yeah, I don't think you can
on a boat. You know,
I don't think you can do this if you're really prone to motion sickness. Okay, so we're almost here at the end again. We're at the point where we pick up the bomb. That was nice and quick. So we're going to deactivate the bomb, and like I said, when we go through the teleporter, it adds another layer of this. So we'll hit this with the laser eyes, and there we go.
Whoa! Whoa!
We've now doubled the effect because it doesn't clear after you've finished it once. We've tried, at this point, it's basically impossible to try and repeat it a third time because when the camera inverts, the controls also invert. So you have to be constantly changing direction to match the zooming in and out of the camera, and it's basically impossible to deal with. So that's Superman 64. It's full of craziness. It's full of goodness. There is a speedrun leaderboard for it at Superman_64. We'd be excited to have you there. We can show you the ropes and help you understand how to make Superman go even faster than a speeding bullet.
Awesome. Yes, I think people should definitely check out that speedrun community. This seems like, I mean, if this is the stuff that they're discovering, you know they're having a good time in there, you know? So you're definitely going to want to join up and hang out in there. Anything else, Brad, before we hand over to the next block here?
Yeah, quick shout outs. I want to shout out, she gave a donation, but Lady Harmar, my wife, she's always supporting me even when I decide to do silly things like this, so I really appreciate her. I want to shout out my community, the Rocket Horses. You might have seen Rocket Horse emotes in chat. Those are the people that came from my community. And I mentioned her, but I wanted to shout out Headstrong, the current world record holder, and the rest of the community because you push this game to its boundaries, and I love to see it. So thank you for having me, and I hope that the rest of the marathon goes well. Thank you all for your donations.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Brad, for putting on an excellent demonstration of not only the glitch, but the run itself. That was a lot of fun. For everyone else out there, we're going to get ready for another break here, but that's going to be the end of our little silly block here and the end of me hosting for Together for Good. So I hope you enjoyed the little block we were able to put together. It's really fun, full of absurd stuff, which is exactly what I like to do. So, you know, I had to bring my awfully silly charm to it. Hope you all enjoy. Continue to watch and support the Together for Good event. Don't forget, we are raising funds for Doctors Without Borders, so feel free to use !donate to get the donation link or check it out below. Other than that, thank you so much, and we're going to get ready to hand it off